interviews coming up. So I think everyone's going to get value, right? So say you're meeting Box on Friday or whenever it is, what would you do if I was asking you, right? What would you do for Box?
I think I'd definitely brush up on the introduction questions, mention my strengths, mention my weaknesses, and also I think I would research into competitors for Box, just in case they ask me, oh, if you were an SDR, if you were a client, why would you pick Box over XYZ? I'd probably have some answers ready and just gloss over the facts and how amazing the company is that I'm joining. Just the standard music interview answers. But yeah, I would definitely have some market research ready for them.
Cool. That's you're not wrong, but to take to the next level, so much you can do, right? And this framework, guys, works for any interview you're going for any company. So first off, straight to Box. We're going to go straight to their website, and we're going to go straight down to the careers section. So the careers section is always going to be in the bottom hand of each company, right? So we're flipping over to the careers section. This is super important, especially with the HR calls, which is normally the first screening call. You want to understand what Box are in terms of like their values, like any company. So they'll talk about belonging at Box, find out more, champion your idea, career culture, all that malarkey. Super important, right? So if we're looking at their values, people coming from different backgrounds, experiences, you can talk about that. You can talk about having international teams. You want to be part of an international organization like Box. Talking about their approach, right? So this might sound wishy-washy, but really it means a lot, right? It's like the culture, take actions that create an inclusive environment where Boxers can thrive regardless of their background. You say you value that. Also the fact the community, both internally and externally. You can read about, I guess, their community here. Talk about the different communities they've got, which you really believe in the different demographics of where people come from Box, right? Different ethnicities. So you can talk about that. But you can also read more about the life. Actually, the funny thing is, this is pretty weak on culture, because normally they'll talk about their culture and values. Doesn't seem that deep.
They've got a good standard HR photo, which you see on magazines. So.
Really classic. But what I would do as well is look at, let's say, if I go back one. Oh, sorry, I was actually looking at a different screen. I was looking at this, guys.
Okay.
Sorry, I was looking at this. I was scrolling through this. So like their approach, community, all that good stuff. Let's just go back to this page though. Belonging at Box. Okay, cool. Come to build what's next. Not just shaping the future of work. So we'll have a look at where innovation happens, right? They've got, offices worldwide. Why do you want to work at Box? First one, want to work for a leading SaaS organization in the cybersecurity space. I've seen you've got offices worldwide. It's always been a vision of mine to work for an internationally established business like Box. You can tell you've won tons of awards. Best places to work 2025. I want to be part of a winning team. You talk about that. Then if we go to the careers page, the sales page, let's have a look at EMEA, location London, search. Okay, so the sales development, here it is. Even there's a French speaking one here. You can talk about.
I think that might be my pitfall. I don't think I can learn French in 2 days.
Yeah, well, they might be hiring a UK one. You never know. I'm sure they wouldn't have put you forward if they didn't have an English one. But let's talk about like here, like just what can we pick up here? They wanna work with companies in the AI first era. Talk about Box working with leading organizations. All the answers, guys, in the job description. Why do you want to work at Box? Another one would be you work with leading organizations as AstraZeneca, JL, Morgan Stanley, Nationwide, offices worldwide across Europe, US and Asia. I want the opportunity to work for a leading organization. So you won loads of awards. You can talk about, what do they actually do? They might ask you that.
Yeah.
Condense this into like 2 sentences. Even use AI to maybe say, hey, I've got an interview at Box. This is what they do. Can you condense it into 2-3 lines for me? Okay, so why Box needs you? Talking about, what you'll do. You should have a good knowledge of this, right? From the work you've done with Entertech, Salesforce ecosystem. Talking about contacting customers via different channels, calls, emails, marketing efforts, listening skills. All this you should be regurgitating to them when they ask, why would you be a good fit? Obviously list the fact that you've studied at Entertech. We're very well known in the tech sales space in Europe and worldwide. Talk about it's an accredited program backed by the Institute of Sales Professionals. This is what I've learned in the last 6 weeks. I've taken 6 weeks out of my life to be part of an ongoing community, of other SDRs in the industry. I'm going to have mentoring for 6 months. You've got to de-risk yourself, right? They're going to think on the first call, why should I not hire this guy?
Yeah.
So they're trying to listen out for any hesitations you might have about the role or anything where you're like, oh, I'm not sure. But if you go in and say, you know what, I've been taking on a, Europe's leading tech sales boot camp over the last 6 weeks. I've had access to leaders that work at some of the world's leading SaaS organizations. I'm going to have 6 months of mentoring going forward and part of their community. I feel confident, this is what we've covered. We've covered best practices when it comes to prospecting, learning different tools such as LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Salesforce. Also have the ability to interact with different professionals across the industry. And I feel like, I'll have the ability to hit the ground running when I come into this role and drive value. Remember, you guys aren't there to make teas. You're there to drive revenue at that organization. So talk about, why would they hire you versus a graduate or another career switcher? It's because you've got that training that we've instilled in you. So you understand the role. You know how challenging sales is. So, talk to them, ask them questions. The questions, we'll go through them, but talk about, what challenges would you foresee in the role? It shows that you're self-aware. Why is this role open? Have you promoted people in the team? Have you, are you going after new territories and geographies? Are you going after new product? Like, have you launched new products? Have people been sacked? Are they not hitting target? So ask, it sounds basic. Why is this role open? Talk about what learning and development opportunities will there be specifically on the products, on boxes, suites, and solutions. Transparently, I'm not an expert on cybersecurity. Have a bit of a, laugh. I'm not a laugh on that, but they'll know that, right? I'm not an expert in cybersecurity. Just want to know what kind of training and onboarding, what does that look like in terms of enablement?
Sorry, Jack. Just to caveat that. For example, if they were to ask, what would be your biggest challenge? What would be your biggest challenge moving from real estate to a tech company? Would you just say maybe the lack of product knowledge, or
just the actual technical knowledge for the organization I'm going to be working at?
Right.
Just like is all putting your cards out there, but also that's what you could ask them about the coaching and learning and development. What the first 30 days look like, in terms of resources on onboarding. Because they can be like, wow, that guy's coachable. The questions you ask guys show that you're coachable, right? Or show that you are got that trait that they're looking for. Like they're gonna want to hire financially motivated people, guys. People that are effing hungry, that want to work hard and come in and make commissions. That's why you want to be in sales. So you want to be asking them, can you tell me, what the commission structure is at Box? What's the base salary versus OTE, on target earnings? How much can a top performer make at the organization? We've had people that have come to last stage interviews and have not got that last stage, offer because they haven't asked about the commission structure and the breakdown, how much they can earn. you've got to come across like super hungry, super aggressive when it comes to the financials.
Yeah. I have one question, quickly.
Yeah,
So when he said like, oh, what's his biggest challenge? He said that, like I don't have that much technical knowledge about the product. Would that also be a answer when someone asks you, what's your biggest weakness?
exactly. What's your biggest weakness? It's the same. I think that's where what Wes was coming from. My biggest weakness would be transparent. It's not having the technical knowledge in terms of the product specific, knowledge what Box sells in the cybersecurity space. But having said that, I'm super coachable. I've taken a 6-week Tech Sales Bootcamp, which is Europe's leading program. They've taught me about SaaS as a software as a service and the different models, different cross-functional teams. I've got a good understanding of the industry as a whole, but I'd say my weakness would be the specific sector, which is cybersecurity. Having said that, it's definitely something I'm willing to learn and I'm keen to be in. That's why I'm here. And you got to be genuinely passionate about the sector of Box. So Box will differentiate to the next one we'll go through, Synthesia, but you've got to be very specific about why you want to join that company. Like 3 reasons why. Number 1 is they've won loads of awards, like we've seen. You want to be part of a winning team. Number 2, just understanding what Box provides and just saying you really buy into what they provide. You can see there's a need for that product. It's in a growing sector. And the fact that you want to be in an organization that has got global scope and you're working with leading clients such as XYZ that I mentioned, JLT, AstraZeneca. I can tell it's a market, it's got product market fit. And obviously being in sales, you want to be part of a leading team where, you're well known in the industry and you're a market leader. So I guess what I would also talk about is, going into what they're looking for. So lives its values, community and in-person collaboration, talking about being in 3 days a week, but diverse cultures, the fact that they aim to recruit passionate, high-performing workforce that affects the world we live in. So come in with passion, come in with ideas, also talk about, we've seen the benefits as well. That's something, that looks amazing. The fact that they're working in Old Street in Shoreditch and, you like looking at that organization, right?
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, Jack. Maybe I don't know if it disturbs you, but me as well. I have a interview lined up with the Zoom Info.
Yeah.
So, how would I research for that company as well, just like it is for Box?
Of course, we'll go into that. That's a great one. First off, I would also speak to Sam Lawal, Pfizer, and Tamana. They're all Entertech graduates you can speak to at Zoom Info. So, drop me a message afterwards. I'll send you their WhatsApps. They're the best places to start. That's the beautiful thing about Entertech in the community. I'd also, let's go to their website again. Let me just finish off with Box quickly. But interviewing at Box, they say everything, right? Everything is on the website, guys. What to expect. Tips for success. Showcase your skills. Bring your best self. Knowing the role. So, like, as you know, everyone, all of you should. Who are you meeting with? Where's Box?
It's a lady. To be fair, I've forgotten her name. I think it's just there. Oh, actually, that's Sophie Robinson.
Okay, let's get her out. Sophie
Robinson.
Yeah. Okay. So this is someone you should. Maybe she hasn't updated her CV. Someone you should be LinkedIn. Someone you should be looking at, like where she worked for before. Build some rapport, right? If she's working at Box now, she must have joined recently, hasn't updated it, and you can say, this is a pretty bad example. You can, if it said she's recently joined there, have that as an icebreaker, right? Remember, when you come onto that call, guys, they make you feel comfortable, but they're probably not because they're so busy. You're probably another one coming in. If you can have a little bit of small talk at the start, thanks for being on. Thanks for taking the time. I'm sure you've got a busy day. Really excited to to learn more about the opportunity at Box, obviously smile, bring the energy. They're gonna love that, right? And have like 2 specific questions about her. So if it's the SDR manager, for example, you can be like, "Oh, I saw you joined as a SDR, over 5 years ago and grew to an SDR manager. What for you, like, how's that journey been? Can you give any like advice, regardless if I join Box or not, how I can, follow a similar path?"
Would you drop that in the beginning or just let it naturally?
Just through naturally. But like a great icebreaker would be like, "Oh, thanks for jumping on. Happy Friday. You working from home today, or are you in the office?" And then have a little bit of banter, a bit of banter, a bit of small talk about how often they're in the office. But like someone like this, like have, during the interview, you can maybe ask her, "I saw you started as an SDR and now you become a sales development manager. Really impressive. How's that journey been like? And what advice would you give?" And like look about like what she loves doing. Like, "Oh, I saw you like swimming," or she's obviously a dog person. If you've got a dog, give us a banter about being a dog. Do you know what I mean? You just got to be.
Show her in the interview. Just bring her up.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, if the conversation's going well, remember they're gonna put you forward if they like you. That's a lot of it. Likability is so important, guys, in this role. So you can't be shy. But have a look who else she follows, like on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's really important you guys are going deep. Like, this is part of the role as an SDR, is the research. When I was being interviewed for, I think it was Alpha Sense, before I joined their London team, I was like the 3rd hire. This is probably about 8 years ago. The guy sat me down in the interview room and was like, "What do you know about me?" And I was like, "Wow, that's like a weird question." They want to know that you've done the research. Then I luckily I've researched him, so I know, "Oh, you working at Monster before? You were here, you were there." It also just shows etiquette. Like, they've taken time out of the day. But you can come with them with, you don't have to go sit outside the house before the interview and take notes like what room they're sleeping in. But you got to be on the ball of knowing everything about them. If you don't, like, what else I'd do? I'd look at.
There's a fine line in LinkedIn stalking. So
yeah, but I'd also connect with them before and say, "Really look forward to the call later today or tomorrow," like before the call.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You can add them and add a personal note. I'd also look at their recent LinkedIn posts. They won an award today, 2025 Global Technology Partner. That's probably not updated on the website. Guidebox and Guidewire. They've obviously announcing lots of things. Look at their YouTube as well. This is so easy to do, right? Look at Google News. See what's recently come up with Box. Their CEO talking about AI changing the SaaS landscape. It's launched 35 minutes ago. Read that. Like, you got to be doing these kind of research, guys.
Definitely.
Obviously, Box is quite a hard one because you're getting up loads of rubbish results for just a cardboard box. Type in Box SaaS. Really, really, really interesting stuff. I'll have a look at Aaron Levy. Just, he's probably got some good interviews on YouTube. But then what else would I do? I would also look at going back to their website, have a look at some of their solutions. Like, look at the industries they cover. Like, you can ask them in Box, what team would I be part of selling into which industry? That's a really good question to ask. They obviously sell to different departments. So it's obviously a very complex solution, but you can, and they obviously offer services as well as the actual software. So the software will be one thing, and they'll probably offer additional services. Talk about the ecosystem. They work with, Google, Salesforce, Apple, ChatGPT, or OpenAI, lots of different partnerships they have in place, technology partners, allows Box to work with. That's pretty impressive, right? Some of the partners they work with, huge partners, IBM, Meta. You don't have to go too technical, but that's pretty cool to know. Customers as well. They work with some of the like AWS, McDonald's. That's a big reason to want to work with this company. They've got huge clients. And then obviously, like, when it comes to resources, you can look at, depends how deep you want to go, maybe some webinars or use cases. I wouldn't worry too much, but maybe like the resource or executive insights where they're talking about some of the clients like that they work with, and some of the clients might talk about how they find using Box, right? So yeah, that's what I'd go into, and I'll talk about like the fact that everyone online needs a platform like Box for content management and something like super secure. Looks like they're working with AI. Talk about the fact that you want to work with a program that's using AI, and right, very, very cool company. I mean, they're offering a lot of software. And you can be honest, you say, they say, tell me about Wox, you say, you tell you guys are a leading provider in the, I guess it's probably in the content management space. Now leveraging AI, you've got global offices from the US, Europe, and APAC, working with the likes of McDonald's, AstraZeneca, and some leading firms, which is super impressive. I know for a fact you cover lots of different industries, from financial services to life sciences, and offer different products and solutions.
Yeah, just stroke their ego, right?
Yeah, and to say, I wouldn't be an expert on each one, but I'm really excited to learn more because it's a space that I really want to be part of, a leading company that's won awards and has got the exposure like Box does in that space. And then talk about as well the culture and values, and just get into the conversation, right? And they're going to ask you like why now, and talk about you're at a stage in your life, your career switcher, money's important. Why is money important? Your family, the fact that you want to buy a house, and go into your why. Remember, we talk about the why early on in the program. You've got to dive into that.
Definitely.
And also the fact that you've look at the package that Box provide, and that the fact that you want to be part of a diverse team which offers good benefits as well is the main reason why you want to be part of the organization. Cool. So I hope that helps.
No, I really appreciate it. I'm definitely going to go.
Pleasure. We'll go into your next one as well after. Let's go to Zoom Info though. Abdul Majid. So tell me, when's your interview?
So what I've been doing is that, like, I've seen, like, I spoke to Samuel. He said to me there's too many people applying, so you have to like really stand out. So what I've been doing, I've been just cold calling like SDR managers, SDRs, and then finally I got to the talent, like the recruiter, but then I found out he's from America. I cold called him on WhatsApp because I couldn't like call him normally, and then like he put my application forward. He seen my online assessment, and then he just said to me, "I'll put you to the next stage, which is the interview stage." He didn't give me a date yet.
Cool. So culture is, they're winning together. You talk about like, why do you want to join Zoom Info? Tell from the culture, right? It's a winning culture. That's what you want to be in. You go into all of their careers page, right? Understand more about them. Talk about the fact that some of the benefits they offer, ongoing learning. It's really important to you. Equity, ownership in the business, flexible work schedules is pretty important as well. But actually, the fact that they work with leading organizations, so you can go to, have also research their competitive landscape, like Lucia, Apollo, Prequin, Cognism. They're all competitors of Zoom Info, so be ready to talk about that. But look, they're working with some of the leading organizations in Microsoft, Google, HubSpot. You can talk about data being so important to organizations, right? Especially sales teams. Data is the new oil. If you don't have the right contact information, you're not going to be able to get through to people. You know what they do, right? There's essentially like Apollo. You can find contacts through them for sales teams and different organizations. I think they do leverage AI now, so they can use AI to suggest certain companies that might be a good fit that you're reaching out to. And then talk about the fact that Zoom Info as a team, right? They are one of the fastest growing companies at the moment. Like the fact that they've won all these awards is amazing. Connects with different tools as well, like Slack, Outreach, Microsoft, HubSpot, Salesforce. So it's obviously a well-built product. And then I'd also go into like testimonials, like just read about what people are saying about using Zoom Info. So you will be selling to salespeople most and foremost. So like a question might be like, how do you find selling to salespeople? As salespeople are notoriously difficult to sell to. That just shows you're self-aware about the work you're going to be doing. Have a look at the leadership, obviously, have a look at, their story and their vision. Like Henry Shook, he's created an absolute monster of a company over the last 13 to 20 years. They're a public listed company, so they're on the New York Stock Exchange, which is pretty cool. And they're now using AI and over 30,000 customers. Like, make sure you name drop or mention that during your interview, right? Super impressive. Do some research on Henry. James Roth is obviously the CRO, so he's the big dog. Have a look at what they're saying on LinkedIn and Google as well at the moment. Again, do your due diligence on ZoomInfo. So reading, like, they're beating earnings estimates. That basically means they're beating their revenues from that was estimated. So they're obviously smashing it, right?
Very good.
So yeah, hope that's clear. Like, again, there's a podcast that just launched here, so listen to that podcast. They've launched a new partnership. You read about that. Yeah, I hope that helps.
One question I have, I've seen somebody do a mock interview, and then I've seen in his interviews, he talks about reading sales books, and he quotes like sales books. What do you think of that?
You can do. It might come across a little bit try hard, to be honest. I just stick to the fact that you could have gone through Entertech again. Mention that, mention what you've learned over the last 6 weeks. Talk about the access to some of the live lectures and people in the industry. You're going to be part of an ongoing community of sales professionals. You're going to have mentoring for 6 months. Again, de-risk yourself. Show them that you've taken this program. Talk about 3 Entertech alumni work at ZoomInfo. Tamana, Sam, and Pfizer. You show that path's been done before. They're doing very well. They're all smashing it. So, sell yourself, sell Entertech, and you should be in a good position. And then obviously afterwards, always follow up with a thank you email to the person that's interviewed you, right? Just saying thank you. And this is what we discussed. Look forward to hearing next steps. But again, I'll put in the group chat questions I'd ask. I'll resend them tonight. But really got to be clear on, can you talk me through the day-to-day KPIs as an SDR in the team? How many calls, emails, LinkedIn, messages would I be looking to do? Talk to me about highest performers in the team, what they're doing right, what's working for you guys in terms of outreach. Is it cold calling? Is it LinkedIn messages? Talk about, if I joined tomorrow, what were 3 non-negotiables you'd expect from me in the first 3 months? That's a good one to ask. So yeah, just really, really make sure that you're showing that you're also self-aware and you're make it clear that you won't be outworked. That's again what people are looking for, guys, is the fact that as the people they hire, number one, are you likable? Can you build that rapport from the start? Number two, are you really driven and work hard for them? Like, tell them at the end, really want to be clear that I won't be outworked. I really want this role, because some people won't tell people that they want the role. Very clear that before we wrap this call, I want to let you know how much I want this role, and ask them as well, like, would you have any reservations hiring me from what we discussed today? If they've got reservations, then obviously you can handle those reservations, objection handle on the call, so you're not leaving anything. The worst thing coming out of an interview is not knowing where you stand. So really important.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So I learned this from I think Naomi's last lesson, which was during the interview, maybe at the end or whenever relevant, I can show that I've prepared a little sheet, which is a 30, 60, 90-day plan of what I'll be doing in the first 3 months, and then how I would be outperforming and how I would be reaching my goals. What do you think of that as well?
100%. Great. If you can do that, that's amazing, right? You can even send it to them before on email, in the invite of the calendar invite. They should have their email address. So send them an email, maybe saying, I just want to attach my 30, 60, 90-day plan. Happy to discuss it with you guys on the call if needed. That shows you're standing out, right? You care. Great, 100%. I'm glad Naomi shared that with you.
And it'd be okay, right? Just to present, let's say at the end of the meeting.
Yeah. Just say, would you mind if you've got a couple of minutes, would love to present with you guys what I've created.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Good man. I think you're in a really good position if you can do that. Cool. Now just quickly pivoting to Synthesia, Wes.
Yeah,
Again, look at all this news here about Synthesia. Rejected
very
3 million
active. Yeah.
offer. Adobe are trying to buy them, right? So you can talk about that. They're Britain's biggest generative AI firm.
Oh wow.
So they're the leaders in the UK, right, for AI. Snagged 1.1 million in one day. So you can talk about, they're AI video creators for businesses, right?
Mm.
And talk about the fact that what the platform does, it's so powerful. Like everyone needs content these days, right? Content creation is so important. They're already working with like the Heineken, Merck, SAP, Zoom, like some huge organizations again. Won loads of awards again. You want to be part of a winning team. Look at that. Like, honestly, come on. Those awards are insane. Summer 2020, 2005, regional leader, high performer, best relationships. So G2 is like Trustpilot for these tech firms.
Right. Okay.
They're talking about, listen to some of the use cases as well. Like, amazing. Also, again, go down to the careers page. It's going to be down here somewhere.
How would the first interview just be kind of like a vague screening process? Would they shy away from technical questions? Would it just be, the standard?
Well, you got to prepare for everything, right?
Of course, of course.
So normally it's more like your drives, why sales, why Synthesia. So again, talking about you want to be part of an organization, winning team, talk about the clients they have, also talk about the solution they provide, like content creation is so important. The fact that you can automate that with a lot of AI is insane.
Easy to get.
Talking about the culture and values, right? The group of humble, fun people building world-class product. That sounds like me. 4.8 reviews on Glassdoor. Valued at $3 billion. He's a young founder, mate. Have a look at him.
Yeah.
Look at some of the benefits here. Like insane flexible work hours, socials, 25 days. What was that? 25 days off paid work standard. But talk about competitive pay. You've seen what it's like to work there. Yeah, it's incredible.
What about those next
AI
stage?
driven company? They're one of the best, biggest AI driven companies at the moment, guys, as well.
Jack, I have a quick question. What about those next stages? So like the second stage, the third stage, how would you need to differentiate yourself? Like what would you need to prepare for?
Second stage, third stage, obviously would be going into probably the role and how much you know what an SDR does. And that's when I guess your learnings from Entertech come in.
Okay.
Talking about being, the frameworks you've learned, MedPick grants, qualifying leads, how would you qualify a lead? They might do a cold call role play, but they'll probably dive deeper into like why you want to work at their specific company. So yeah, I guess I don't know where is the role here? Yeah, sales. Here we are. Sales development. Okay, cool.
London.
You guys should all be applying to this role. Bloody hell, it's great. Like, look at this. AI is transforming. You want to be part of an AI-driven firm. Like, if you're not mentioning that in the interview, you're not going to get it. Like you got to be AI obsessed. Obsessed about like what they're actually doing. Right. Read all of this. It's a unicorn status. They're only one of 7. Unicorn means they're worth $1 billion. Fastest growing company in the world, 2024. Hey, that's insane. Like some of the investors they have as well. If you look at some of the investors, if you Google these investors, guys, like Excel, they're one of the biggest companies investing, right? They've invested in Facebook, Slack, and Dropbox. Like Google some of the investors, like these are crazy. They've invested into Synthesia. They must be a great organization to work for, right? So let me go back, share the screen again. If you go back here, work with leading brands, the role. So inbound will be like obviously calls coming into you. So you'll be able to qualify them. Prospecting activities, generating leads, educating work on leads, inbound, outbounds, via cold calls, emails, social media, events, webinars. Like, yeah, in-depth understanding of each lead gen process, supporting marketing. You talk about, ask them like, what support would you get from marketing? You guys know, right, how marketing is such an important collaboration with SDRs, right, from the cross-functional SaaS organization. About you, like, this is exactly how you want to present yourself. Keen on software, Web3, other tech stuff, interpersonal presentation skills, high performer, attention to detail.
Yeah.
So again, Wes, do your 30, 60, 90-day plan, shows your attention to detail for sure. Self-driven, talk about that. Any examples in sport or work currently, what you're doing. Entrepreneurial spirit, get stuff done, growth mindset. You like learning, and they might ask you, what's the last book you've read, or what do you do to improve yourself? I might be reading the papers on a Sunday or reading TechCrunch. Talk about these things. Ambitious and self-motivated, like how driven are you financially? 5 days a week, you can like tell them that you've seen that and you're willing to commit. You want to be in there to learn and develop, especially early on your tech career. You've learned you know how to use a tool like Outreach. You understand how cadences work. Salesforce, you've had exposure to Lens Tech. Obviously, like, talk about what they want everyone to do, own it, make the journey fun. You want to be enjoying yourself as well as working incredibly hard. All these benefits as well. That is probably the best job you're going to get in London right now. Simply. Even though it's not for everyone because it's 5 days a week.
Yeah.
I know, and it's not for everyone to do that. I know Sarah's just joined, but I think it's a good one. You can be in the office 5 days a week to put yourself in the ring.
No, 100%. Monday to Friday, 9 to 6 anyway.
Yeah.
I'm lucky when I get 1 day off to work from home. So tomorrow I'm trying to just nail them. I've got Synthesia at 1 p.m. and then the other one at 5.
Nice. And remember to talk about transferable skills you already have, right? Cool. Sarah, see you've joined. How are you getting on? You're on mute. Can't hear you, but if you're just listening in, that's fine. Hamza, how's everything on your side?
Yeah, all good. I'm literally keep applying right now. Just a question, yeah. You said on the second stage regarding the core play. Did they tell you before, or it's gonna be on the spot?
Yeah, they normally would tell you for sure.
Okay.
But always prepare, right? It's always good to prepare just in case. I've heard that before. No worries, Sarah. That's cool. Good. Hope swimming lessons are going well. But that's why, guys, as well, like the ecosystem we've created, get on a call with Chadney. She's hired so many people for her career as a HR coach. Get on with Michelle. We're pairing up with your mentors this week. Drop a session in with your mentor. Put time in their calendars. Drop me a message on WhatsApp. We can schedule some time to speak. I want each and every one of you to know you've got that support, even if the live sessions are finished in the next coming weeks. You're going to have access to us for 6 months plus to land a job, right? Some of you, naturally, it's going to come quicker than others. A bit of luck might be in there, a bit of, I guess, finesse on the interviews. But the more interviews you can do, don't get deflated. I was speaking to one of you today. Do not get deflated. It's part of the process. But tech sales was easy, to get into. Everyone would be doing it, and they wouldn't be paying the big bucks, right? Once the hardest part is getting in, guys. That's what I'm telling you. You got the skill sets. We wouldn't be taking on this program if we didn't think you'd be successful. You got the drive. Now it's just putting in the reps. Obviously, through our network, we're going to try and set you up with as many interviews as possible. There's a company I was speaking to today, which I'll drop in the WhatsApp. They're hiring, I believe, 10 SDRs. It's a bit of a different organization in terms of some of it might be field sales as well, but there's so many opportunities out there. Do not get deflated. Work with us as a team, and also even roles just apply to them. I know some of you, like Sarah, for example, had been saying, you want to be in 2 days in the office max. I'd still apply to roles where, even if they say on the surface like Synthesia, it's 5 days in, because You might meet the SDR manager. They might say, okay, we actually like, helping supporting parents. We might be able to be flexible. They might be able to refer you to other jobs in the industry or people they know that want SDRs that want to be fully remote. And also, you're just learning and developing your interview skills. So at the end of the day, guys, it's a skill to interview well, and the more experience and exposure you can get, the better. And keep applying, right? So obviously, using the jobs we're sending you, link in with other SDRs, the hiring managers, also leverage, the company websites, but go for volume as well as direct referrals through the Tech network. So if you're sitting down at least an hour a day, that sounds like a lot. If you can't do an hour a day, an hour every 2 days, and just going through the jobs we're sending you and creating the tracker sheet to make sure you've followed up with people that haven't got back to you. That's the main thing, right? You're going to get there. So yeah, any other questions, guys?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So any tips about, in the interviews, I've heard there's going to be cold call simulations. So in front of the interview, you're going to be cold calling, or at least practicing to cold call. Any tips for that?
Yeah, so I'd use obviously Skylar in the platform to practice with. I'd also practice with Michelle one-on-one. Even pull myself in if you've got one-on-one role plays into practice. Obviously, start the usual flow, right? Would be, hi, it's Jack calling from Tech. Appreciate I'm calling out the blue. Do you have 15 seconds for me to explain the reason for my call? They're going to say yes, because of simulation. If they say no, no problem. When can I call you back? They say yes. Great. The reason for my call is, always start with that, and then have X, Y, Z. We work with professionals in your space, like X, Y, Z. Name some competitors of theirs. So say as a CFO, you're calling a CFO. We work with CFOs from X, Y, Z. So say you're calling Adidas, you'd made Nike, Reebok, Hoka, to help them with 3 main challenges. Name those challenges that the software helps you with, and just say, does any of that resonate with you? Are you using any software today to support you with those workflows? Yes, we're using software. Cool. Do you mind me asking what software do you use? And that's when the conversation starts. We asking open-ended questions. Oh, we use X, Y, Z. Oh, no problem. I heard, we some of our clients that work with us today used to use X, Y, Z. How are you finding it? Blah, blah, blah. Just ask those questions. Have you thought about using other software? If they say no, then you can't do much, right? But if from the start of that question, they say, no, we're not using any software at all, that's be like, oh, great. Just out of interest, if you thought about using any software, be like, yeah. If it's a simulation, they're going to be like, yeah, we've thought about using software. And you say, if you were, what software have you looked at? Well, we looked at X, Y, Z. Cool. What software what do you like about X, Y, Z softwares? Oh, I like the fact that it could automate my invoices within 30 days. I like the fact that, it wasn't too expensive. I like the fact that, blah, blah, blah. And you can be like, okay, great. Just to let you know, we also do that plus X, Y, Z. Would you have 30 seconds for me to, sorry, not 30 seconds. Would you have 30 minutes for me to run you through a quick demo in the next couple of weeks? Because from what you described to me, it sounds like it could be a fit.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And you close it, right? It's not that hard, but just listen to what they're saying. If they're saying, I've looked at software before, ask them what software, what they like, what they not like. If you could wave a one magic wand today, what would your ideal solution look like? So are you getting all their pain points, and then you can ask them for a call? You just relay those pain points and say, this is exactly what we do. And if they're all saying, oh, we're actually looking at software at the moment, when you call them and you get in the conversation, we're looking at software at the moment, it's like, oh, what sparked your interest to start looking at providers? I'm guessing you didn't wake out of bed one morning thinking I need to buy software. Like, what's driven that problem? Like, what's driven that? And then he'll talk about the problems, and then you can say, I tell you, say it's to do with CFO. For us, we've got a team of 10, and it's really manual, spending hours trying to find invoices. And talk about, oh yeah, we hear that all the time. You know, how many hours would you say they spend a week as a team? 50 hours a week. That's crazy. You know, our software can automate that. And typically, so you understand the pain, like what's really driving them to look at software. And then you can obviously share that with your account executive on the demo and just uncovering information, mate, really understanding what the challenges are, diving deeper. They give you some information, dive deeper on it. Do you know what I mean? So it could be another problem is, you know, we've really struggled to automate invoices. You ask them, how many invoices would you be, you know, manually sifting through, you know, every month? How long does that take you? What's the impact on that? Yes, you understand like how long they're taking. So that, I guess that's diving into like quite technical, but if you can go just ask a second question on the answer, like reverse question. If they give you an answer, just dive a little bit deeper. Don't just be like, oh, great, and move on. Ask them, how is that? Like, tell me, explain, describe. TED is the question framework. Tell me, explain, describe is an open-ended question that gets people talking. So if you can, my only advice for you would be keep it open-ended questions when you're on that discovery. When the cold call framework, you'll get through to them and say, yeah, we're looking at software providers. You can tell me about your current situation, explain to me, you know, what software tools you're using, describe to me the workflow of your team at the moment, you know. So it's really not that hard. So if you just if you remember one thing from this call, it would be in the call when you're interacting with them, tell me, explain, describe, and then also if the role play is going well, you can ask them if they're looking at software tools, you know, their budget for that. You go through BAB, right? Budget, authority, need, and time. So just before we wrap, just interested to know, Abdul Majid, do you guys have any budget for any software that you're looking to buy? You told me you're looking at software. Do you guys have a budget or timeline on when you want to sign off and get software in place? And who is running that process within the organization? Is it yourself and someone else? And they'll say, oh, it's Joe Blogs from marketing. Great. Appreciate reached out to me out of the blue. I would love to schedule a 30-minute demo, or 15-minute demo, just to run you through the platform next week. Feel free to invite Joe Blogs if he's also involved in the decision-making process. Does, let's say, the same time next week work for you? Yeah, sure. Okay, great. I'm going to send you an invite now. Confirm their email on the call and send in that invite, and then, you know, wrap the call up. So sounds a lot, but it is pretty basic. And obviously, the more training we do with it, you'll get there. But remember, bands as well. If you're on a cold call, try and understand: are they actively looking at software? Do they have a budget? Who's in charge of running that process? And when do they want that software, you know, finished, basically implemented? Because if they haven't got budget for it and there's no timeline, maybe there's no need to book a discovery call.
Yeah. Just following up on something you said. So of course you give the opener, you give a permission-based opener, and then when getting to the issues that they have, let's say you said what problems do you have with invoices, you just follow up on that, keep listening, and then when you establish that need, from there you would go and like maybe like slowly pitch, say that we have those features and like try to value sell.
Yeah, you say that. We hear that all the time. You know, all of our current clients shared the same problems when they were before they were using our software. If you're not against it, I propose, you know, a 15-minute demo. We could run you through some of the case studies of current clients that had the same challenges as you and how our software could potentially help them. And you say there's obviously no obligation to buy anything. You know, I'm happy even to chuck in a free coffee from Starbucks if you come on the call. Something like that. Like, just have a bit of fun with it. It's all a role play anyway. Like, don't take it too seriously. And you know what? If the role play flops, you can always ask them to go again. You know, halfway through, if you're thinking, ask them for feedback off the role play. Is there anything you do differently? How can I improve? That shows you're willing to learn. You ask them on that role play, like, do you have any bits of advice for me? How I can improve that? They'll love it. Or can we go again? I'd love to. And if you go again, just make sure you're incorporating the feedback they've told you. The worst thing you do if you do another role play after they've given you feedback is dig on that feedback. So write down on pen and paper as well, bring into the interview, even if it's online, feedback they're giving you, answers to questions, things like that. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, they helped a lot. They helped a lot. Thank you for that.
Good stuff. Hamza, anything from you?
No. I think you answered most of them. Yeah, most of them.
Cool, okay. So guys, what I say is good luck with the interviews this week. Pull in Chadney, pull in myself, pull in Michelle. Also mentors should be introduced already. If you're not, it'll be by end of day Friday. In terms of next steps, please make sure you're getting through all the content, coursework. We'll get things squared away in terms of certifications once you're through to end of module 13. In terms of support and ongoing support, we're looking to do a meetup next month in November, potentially early December. So we're definitely going to do one in-person meetup for Christmas. So it'll be great to meet all of you on that. I would say the next month is great for application hiring. The next month till I'd say the 14th of August is great, and it goes quiet probably for another 3 weeks, where Christmas, New Year's, first week of January is normally quiet. So start hammering out the applications, guys. Results will come again through our network. We're going to try and support you guys with as much as we can, putting in front of the right people, and enjoy the process, right? Like start connecting with people in the industry on LinkedIn. You know, even if you get a rejection, ask them for feedback. It's the only way you can improve, right? So generally seek feedback, and also start posting in the group, right, guys? Challenges, wins, losses. We want to hear them because everyone's going through the same process. The more we can share, like Ismail got a job from BT, you know, within the last week. Loved hearing his success, and you know, the more we can support each other, even the negatives, the better it's going to be for everyone, right? Because that's the community and how we can support each other. But I've really enjoyed, you know, getting to know each and every one of you, and we're going to get you into those roles to where you want to be. Again, as I said, use our network, use our framework, use our people, because that's why you came onto the second end date. And personally, as you all know, I really want you to all be successful and to get to where you want to get to. So yeah, without further ado, if anyone got any other questions, if not, we'll let you enjoy your evenings, and we'll be in touch very, very soon.
One thing is, this one question now is, I
Sure.
think you said that, the next month or right now is the best time to apply, and I said the 14th of August. Was it? Do you mean the 14th of December, or was it?
14th of December.
Oh, yeah, it made sense then.
14th of December, yeah. So that's obviously when people go on holiday for Christmas, New Year's. So I'd say be aggressive in the next 30 days, and keep going. I'd say it sounds crazy, but even 30 applications a day is what some people were doing in the past. I think it's hard to be catered, like very targeted to the right companies, or you take a 10 a day approach, but make sure you're very, very specific to the roles you want, and connecting with people, following up, speaking to the head of talent, head of sales development, other SDRs of the team on LinkedIn, as well as applying on the company website. You're going to be in a great position, and start using job boards we're sending through, right, from LinkedIn, Otter, Well Found. There's lots of good companies and opportunities out there. You've got to be proactive, scheduling time in your day-to-day, even with 30 minutes a day. Make sure we're getting ourselves out there, and good things are coming, guys, because you're all very capable.
Thank you for that.
Cool. All right, guys, we'll speak soon. Enjoy your evening, and keep me posted on the interviews this week, all right?
Thanks,
Yeah,
Sharon.
amazing.
Mate.
Take care, guys. Ciao.